the Lady of the Lake.
Oh, nice.
Ooh.
So, this is... I'll just read this out and then I'll go into more depth about the whole sitch. So, since Lake Lanier was created in the 1950s, it had been a site for a host of unusual happenings. In fact, one of the most prevalent ghostly tales in the area is of a lady in blue wandering up and down the bridge of the Dawsonville Highway just outside of Gainesville. Delia Park Young was a young lady who worked at Riverside Military Academy. I can't read that word there, but the professor, Ted Garner, said in April of 1958, Delia borrowed a blue dress and her friend Susie Roberts came to pick her up in her 1954 Ford for a night out. The pair was headed to Three Gables in Dawsonville, but the woman never returned. They were traced from the Three Gables to the gas station nearby, where they'd left without paying. Garner said there were skid marks along the road near the bridge, and it looked as if the car had crossed the centre line and went off the side of the road. Police searched for the car in the water, but to no avail. The disappearance remained a mystery until 18 months later, when a body floated up from the water as C.A. Simpson was fishing under the Dawsonville Highway Bridge. Identification was not possible because the body had dentures, but had a couple of striking attributes. The body was missing 2 toes on her left foot and had no hands, Garner said, noting the woman on the bridge seemed to be without her hands. So yeah, the woman's body was buried in Alta Vista Cemetery in an unmarked grave, and people continued to speak about seeing a woman in blue wandering the bridge. So basically, they never found the vehicle.
That's weird.
Yeah, so it was 2 ladies.
Yeah.
Obviously, it crashed off the side of the bridge, and then they found a body with no hands, which
Also weird.
yeah. And they, like I say, they never found the vehicle. They did actually find the vehicle.
Oh, they did eventually.
So that happened in the 1950s. They had to like drain the lake, that part of the lake, because they had to build a new bridge, and then they found the rusted vehicle.
Yeah.
With the driver. Just the skeleton just in the vehicle still, like, so that was 1950. So that was like 50 years later.
Yeah. Jesus.
And so that I think that they knew that it was the passenger who was the lady without the hands. But that there's a common thing where people see a lady wandering the bridge.
The no hands thing's really weird, isn't it?
Yeah, that's horrible. Why would that be?
So
Brace
Lake
yourself.
Lanier. Anyway, let me get Lake Lanier. It's like a man-made. It's like a man-made lake, basically. So they dammed the. I can't remember the name of the fucking river now. Anyway, they dammed this massive river, and they in the 1950s they created this massive lake. They just flooded loads of places.
Wasn't Mississippi? Was it? No.
Yeah, the Mississippi. Yeah, the Child something.
Chestati River.
Yeah, something like that.
Or the Chattahoochee.
Yeah, it's a hard one to pronounce. But yeah, so what happened was they wanted to dam this river and then create this lake, and basically they was going to use it for like to create energy from like the water and all that sort of stuff. And all the people that lived in all of these villages and stuff where the lake was going to be, they was like forced out of the place.
Yeah.
And so they tried to buy all the land, but anyone who didn't sell the land, they just fucking forced them out anyway. And they dammed the river and flooded these like towns.
Jesus.
And literally to this day, like there's this lake called Lake Lanier, and it's just over loads of like old towns. And they never like it was done, you know, obviously in the 1950s. So they didn't do like a proper job of it. They just flooded the whole thing. I think it's like 1,000 feet above sea level or something, the lake or whatever.
Yeah.
And since the 1950s, there's been like nearly 700 deaths on this lake, and they don't like cars like veering off the road into the lake just randomly,
Ugh.
like boats just capsizing and
Yeah.
people just drowning. Obviously, lakes are dangerous, you know.
Yeah,
But
that's
to
a
have
lot.
that many deaths,
Yeah.
700. I think I worked out it's kind of like one every month.
Fucking hell.
Jesus, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously, you know, if there's not one month, the next month there'll be two.
Two,
yeah.
Yeah, and so they don't know whether it's like they say where the land was taken and the lake was like a lot of, obviously back then, like a lot of like people would be buried on their farms
Yeah,
and
yeah,
their
of
stuff,
course.
and like they said that they got rid of all the bodies out of the graves, but you think back then,
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
they
just-
wouldn't have done.
whose job is that to
Yeah,
fucking
yeah,
go and
yeah,
dig up a
nah.
load of old grave, like.
Yeah,
So they've had like divers and going down in the water, and they're like they've put their hands out, and there's been like hands and shit, and like
Really?
yeah, like
What the
proper
fuck?
sketchy
yeah,
stuff going on.
yeah.
But yeah, they don't, like I say, they don't know if it's like a weird something mysterious going on with the lake where it's like
Yeah,
a bit dark, or whether it is just where they didn't know much about creating like obviously these lakes and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Because what happens is they flooded it to a certain level, but then when they have droughts, the water goes down,
Mm.
and then there's like
Objects
loads of
and
stuff on the
Yeah,
bottom.
yeah.
So like if you're in a boat, like
Get
going
caught up in
across
that.
that bit where it might be
Yeah.
safe.
It's
If
probably-
if the water level comes down, like
yeah,
you know, you might be going over an old fucking tree or something
Yeah.
that they haven't cut out, and it can like capsize the
Yeah.
boat.
And if you fall in with all that shit in
Yeah,
there.
Yeah. That like loads of swimmers. Like 1 month, literally 4 people died
Yeah.
in 1 month just swimming in there.
that's
I
insane.
think one guy was like a lifeguard.
Yeah.
And they were like, but it was strange how this guy's such a
Yeah.
strong swimmer. I just
Yeah.
went in there for a swim, and just never seen him again.
yeah,
Like,
I wonder if I don't know much, but I wonder if it's with different levels and different objects and that where you're swimming. I wonder if different stuff's got different currents.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I say
like
that
stuff
they didn't
deeper.
get rid of
Yeah,
any of the
yeah, yeah.
objects underneath.
Yeah.
Like where it droughted so much once, there was like an old racetrack which had like come up. where it,
yeah.
like, submerged, yeah, and there's just loads of weird stuff
Yeah.
that was obviously happened. Obviously, the Lady of the Lake is like the biggest urban legend of
Yeah.
the thing. But then again, I was like, how strange that a car would just sort of go off a
very.
bridge,
Yeah.
and there's
Yeah.
loads of weird stuff like that where
Interesting.
yeah, just boats have randomly capsized and people have just gone swimming and
Yeah,
never been seen again.
yeah,
I think 700 people in.
yeah. That's a lot of
That's
people.
fucking-
Yeah.
And
But
I think-
they call it the Cursed Lake.
Yeah. Oh wow, that's fucking cool. I mean, obviously it's tragic, but it's still cool. But that you know, you got things like the Bermuda Triangle, which
Yeah.
is just like things just fucking disappear.
That's really
And it's just
weird.
never
isn't it?
seen again.
Yeah, yeah. That's
You know?
so weird
Yeah,
because there's so much that's legit as well.
yeah,
And there was
That-
another story with some fishermen there who was just obviously fishing one evening, and they just saw like it's like a raft with like a cloaked person on the raft
Oh.
with like a big staff thing. Like,
yeah,
obviously pushing down and
Yeah,
going
yeah, yeah.
along. But they were like, that part of the water was like so fucking deep that you wouldn't
There's
have been
no
able
way
to.
he could have been
yeah, he
pushing
couldn't
it.
have done
like
it.
punting in it or something.
Yeah, like punting along it. And
Yeah.
he had like a little lamp. And then like they noticed it, and then apparently they heard just a massive scream, and it just jumped in the water, and the lamp went off, so everything went black. And apparently they just fucked off. And
Too right.
Yeah. But they were like, it was so cold that
Yeah.
anyone who would have jumped in the
Yeah,
water
yeah.
wouldn't have survived. And like,
don't know.
yeah, and it's like another
man.
myth that there's this person who sort of fucking.
It's all going on at this lake, isn't it?
Mate, honestly, if you type in Lake Lanier, there's
Lake
so
Lanier.
many weird deaths and just odd stuff
What
that
the
happens. I really want to go there because obviously
Yeah,
I'm into
because
my,
get a drone over
I'm
it.
into my
Yeah.
boats.
yeah,
But then,
Yeah.
you know, I would probably die on Lake Lanier.
yeah,
Probably would die.
yeah. Because when you started, I thought it was just going to be not that it's just, but I think, you know, it's this woman that haunts
Yeah,
the
yeah.
fucking.
But-
Not
Yeah,
all
no,
the
that
fucking
like I say, that's just like a
one
part of
off.
it. But
One
then
off.
I sort of,
Fucking hell.
because I just went, I obviously read the story about this lady of the lake, and I was like, I wonder what this lake is. And then I was like, 700 people
Yeah.
have died.
Yeah, that's a lot of people.
Yeah, and then
So many
obviously
people.
how they created it, they just was like, right, imagine that, right, Stevenage, everyone move.
Yeah, yeah.
We're flooding Stevenage.
Yeah.
You
And
got
it's-
any images of it to have a look?
Yeah, get up
Lake
some
Lanier.
getting rid of everything.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and like
That's-
I say, it's a big fucking.
Oh,
it's
it
a big
looks
area.
beautiful though.
Yeah.
It's what draws you in.
Oh, look, the first thing there, another.
But they have like
drone.
basically they've got a team of divers there who are dedicated to body recovery.
Really?
Because obviously, say if you lost a family member and they were never recovered, you would always drive past the lake and just be like, "How weird that
yeah.
I've lost that family member. They've never been recovered. They're in there somewhere."
Yeah. Mad. Lake Lanier. I'm going to look into that further for sure. Deadly history. People seeing ghosts. Fucking spooky. Imagine living near that. I bet the fucking local residents have some stories, man.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. See all the trees and stuff in the water. Obviously,
Yeah.
when the water
Yeah.
rises, if you're in
They're
a boat,
fully
you don't know
submerged.
that
That's a
stuff is
Yeah,
underneath
yeah.
you.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, but there's loads of like speedboats that are and like the more crashes the stuff there is, the more debris that
Of
sort
course,
builds up
yeah.
in it.
Yeah, look.
Jesus.
Fucking hell. That's in Georgia. So I wonder if that's on this.
Oh,
Yeah, look,
God.
great.
Yeah, funnily
look,
enough.
underwater fucking.
Fucking hell. You know, I was saying about this list of urban legends. You go to Georgia, and it is the curse of Lake Lanier.
Oh, okay.
Pretty
Yeah,
like,
that's
I was,
insane.
yeah,
That
I
is
was
insane.
got into this and I was like I was hooked on it
Yeah.
Draws you in.
Focus of fucking.
because I just think that's how like if you're a government and you go right, loads of people live there, let's flood it.
Yeah.
The kind of thing I would do. I'd be like, Wales, let's turn that into a lake.
Fuck's sake. A massive national park.
Yeah, but why do you need to flood like?
Yeah. No, I know. It's insane.
Yeah, the
That's
Americans
insane.
are mental, aren't they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they are. They
Build a
can fuck.
wall.
Yeah.
Just money in it. It all
Never
stems
mind,
back
don't
to
build a
money.
wall, build a lake.
Fucking hell. Apparently, there's also malevolent catfish lurking at the bottom of that
Yeah,
lake.
yeah, they say there's like
large enough to swallow dogs.
Yeah,
Or even
Really?
or even
catfish,
drown a diver.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Fucking hell.
Catfish, like the size of a young boy.
How's this?
Apparently, it was created to manage navigation and flood control
Yeah.
from that Chattahoochee
So
River.
The chat.
So
Yeah,
flooded
And
towns to manage
supply-
flood control.
Supply water for the city of
that's it.
Atlanta.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, it
Money,
supply-
mate.
It supplies the all the electricity and stuff. Yeah.
Atlanta water, they've got loads of problems with water, haven't they? Or they have had in the past.
Droughts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not
I
anymore.
think so.
Droughts on droughts. Dear oh dear. Fucking hell. That's Lake Lanier. Fucking amazing. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. So if ever you go on holiday to Lake Lanier and you think it's a nice place to go for a dip, don't.
Yeah, really don't.
Yeah.
You will not come back.
Yeah.